Hey everybody, Emily here. It's been a couple days since I made a video. My internet was down for a little bit, and then just all of the craziness and nonsense going on around. Well, whatever your perception of it is, whether you perceive it as nonsense or not. Um, Even if you don't, sometimes the people, or you do, even if you do, sometimes the reactions and behaviors of people around you have an effect on you, regardless of where you're trying to keep your management of emotions at. Anyway, but I'm back, and today I wanted to make a video about my experience with the vegan diet and a little bit of a conversation about my um, awareness and knowledge of the vegan agenda and some of the um, behaviors that it has led to in alternative communities and everywhere else. But before that, I wanted to give a couple of updates. I will be updating the carnivore diet experience in just a minute. But for now, I just wanted to let everybody know sort of what I'm up to right now. We are in a really weird situation. And I think the best use of our time, since we're all sort of grounded for now, is to get happy, get healthy, and find ways to have a good time. And with that in mind, I'm launching two different experiences. The first thing we'll launch this weekend on Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is a virtual or live online sort of speakeasy listening room that will be a curated information, music, perhaps art and cocktail experience. The first one will be this Saturday. This one will be a little bit more of a meet and greet. We'll not probably have little or no curated information on this one. It'll just be more meet and greet and then a musical selection and cocktail. And if you are wanting to join us, please go to Facebook and go to look for Conspiracy Cocktail under groups. And there's also an event, but I think you have to be part of the group to see the event. Make sure you answer the 3 questions for admittance, and then you'll be in. If people do not have Facebook, and first of all, congratulations to you. But you can also contact me at my email address, technobrat21@gmail.com, if you would like to participate in this. Yeah, this is to have a good time. Okay, this is not going to be your typical alternative community kind of experience. This is going to be about getting together, leaving the usual stuff at the door, having a good time. And the other thing that I'll be launching probably next week, see how things go, is a health and happiness wellness kind of chat group. I think that this period of time, if it can be used to get yourself happy and healthy, you're going to be in a great spot on the other side of this to really start moving into that life that you want to be leading. So that's it on those things. Contact me either on Facebook at Emily Moyer or at the email technobrat21@gmail.com if you have any questions about either of those things. And now on to the food, the diet stuff. First of all, I want to give an update on my experience so far with the carnivore diet. Today is Friday, the 20th of March. I have been doing this since last Monday, so like 12 days so far, or 11 or 12 days. I did have a cheat meal on Saturday evening, as I will throughout this experience. I probably shouldn't call it cheat, but a more expansive meal, just because I do enjoy that. I enjoy fine dining and cocktails and the social experience that goes along with that, and that will always be part of how I live my life, and so that should be part of this as well. But everything else that I have eaten for the last almost 2 weeks has been carnivore friendly. It's mostly been meat, mostly beef. I've eaten some eggs, bacon, some chicken, some turkey, a little bit of cream, and a very, very tiny amount of cheese. And I've been drinking water and coffee. So far, I mostly feel amazing. Today, I'm actually feeling a little bit funny. I don't know if this is an emotional issue based on some of the behaviors of people around me, or if this also could be I'm on my period right now, and that could be part of it. I seem to be experiencing a heavier period than usual. I can't tell if that's from the carnivore diet or not. Some people say it is, some people say it's not. I'm just experiencing it. I'm fine. So I feel a little bit off from my usual self today, but not bad by any means. For the most part, my experience so far is this. My body is feeling good. My body is looking good. My back pain is less. Some um, issues that I've been having with my body in terms of a little bit of bloat and some, like, I had gained a little bit of weight during a back injury period, and then during just a very interrupted period of my life where I was going through a lot of changes and doing a lot more traveling, a lot more eating out, a lot more drinking, all that kind of stuff. And I had not quite been able to get, and I'm still not quite back to the space that I like with my body, but there's been an enormous shift in that during this only 11 or 12 days that I've been on the carnivore diet, both in terms of how my body feels and looks, but also my emotions and psychology around it, which is unusual to me. I'm just having a different experience, not only with my body, but with my feelings about my body. And that's been pretty interesting. Um, I am spending a lot less time thinking about food and worrying about, not when I say worrying, I don't mean in a bad way, but thinking, contemplating what I'm going to eat or blah, blah, blah. Which to me, I like food. I'm a foodie, so that does consume a lot of time for me normally. So that's been kind of an interesting experience to not have that time taken up. I also feel very motivated. I've gotten a lot more done in these last 2 weeks than I had been for several weeks or months prior to that. And I don't know if I just really am enjoying this uh, coronavirus lockdown experience, which I don't think I'm really enjoying it. But what I'm saying is, like, okay, my attitude has been, we're in this situation. What cool can I make out of it? And so I've been motivated from that. But I also think probably the diet has played into it somewhat. I've been exercising the first week. I felt a little tired when I exercised. That's gone this week. I had a good outdoor run on the one day that it was sunny. I cut it a little bit short because I didn't want to use the drinking fountains outside, just to be safe. I'm not getting carried away here, but I figured that's a smart idea. And I don't cold water when I'm out exercising. So I didn't do 10 miles. I did 6, but I had no, because I wanted to go home and something to drink. I was thirsty. But I had no issues and my body felt good. So I've exercised most days. Some days I've run, some days I've walked, some days I've done some weights and things like that. That feels pretty good. One of the interesting things is sleep. I am not tired at night, which is both interesting and amusing, but in some ways also annoying. Like when it's time to go to bed, like when I'm usually tired, I am just wide awake. And yeah, and then when I wake up in the morning, I feel rested. I am waking up during the middle of the night to go to the bathroom quite a bit, which is something I've experienced before. But when I experienced it before, I'd often wake up and not really go to the bathroom that much. It was more like a habit or something. Every time I wake up to go to the bathroom now, it's like a significant pee. So that's kind of interesting. And even sometimes I'll wake up and I don't even necessarily feel like I have to go, but something my brain is telling me to go, and I'll go, and it'll be like big pee. I know this is kind of weird things to talk about, but this is the experience, and people are wanting to know about it. I did do some research, and it said that when you're starting to deplete your glycogen stores, you lose 3 or 4 molecules of water with each molecule of glycogen or glucose, or however that they term that. And that would be the reason. So I'm shedding water right now, I guess. So that's kind of interesting, and it makes sense. So yeah, so that's what's going on. I'm trying to think if there's been any other significant changes in the way. Oh, my skin is super clear. This is really interesting. I've had more trouble as an adult with acne than I ever did as a teenager. I haven't had a single kind of breakout or funny spot or anything during this period of time, even though I'm on my period. And also, one night I fell asleep with my makeup on. I didn't wash my face, and that would usually result in a breakout the next day for me. And I did not have that. I'm also sweating a little bit more. And sometimes I have a funny taste in my mouth. When I wake up in the middle of the night, my mouth feels a little dry, like I need to drink water. But if I'm shedding water, I suppose that makes sense. But there is one issue that I do want to talk about, and that is, and this is something that, I'm doing this diet for a month, and then I'll decide what I really think about it and what I'm going to do in relation to it going forward. The boredom with what I'm eating is an issue. So I'm not spending time other than like mealtime or right before or after mealtime necessarily thinking about this, but I'm getting tired of just eating meat. While I'm able to get satiated, I'm kind of getting bored of the texture and the flavor. I've been eating mostly beef. I'm a person, I don't like chicken unless it's fried or chicken wings. And so I don't eat much chicken. I had some chicken wings for lunch today because we had to bring something in because the cleaning lady's here and we couldn't use the kitchen. So I had the plainest kind I could have. Obviously, there's no fried chicken on this diet, but other than that, I have no interest in chicken. It actually just makes me not feel very good. I'm a B type blood type, and chicken isn't really good for you anyway, apparently, with that. So I don't adhere to that necessarily, but it is interesting. So I eat mostly beef because it fills me up. I guess it's my preferred meat. I have had some bacon, I've had some eggs, I've had some sausage, and whatnot, but and I've had some seafood, I had some crab. Um, I'm having trouble keeping it like enough variety. I don't usually cook fish in the house because I don't like the way it makes the house smell. We're obviously not able to go out and eat in quite the same way we normally do. I try not to eat a lot of pork, just unless I can get some heirloom pork or whatnot. So I don't eat a lot of that. I'm not at that place where I'm yet interested in eating innards or organs. I know a lot of people do that. I totally understand the reasons why. I'm not there yet. Yeah, and I'm not really interested in eating raw meat either. Like, I mean, I'll have like carpaccio or, that kind of raw steak type thing once in a while. But as far as in general, like I eat my steaks rare. I'm not interested in having it more raw than that. So I am bumping up against some boredom in the repetition of what I eat, and that would be something to consider going forward. But as far as how I feel really good. I can't, a lot of bloating, sort of gassy digestion stuff is less than it had been for a long time. I did have those chicken wings today, and I did notice a little bit of a tummy gurgle and I felt a little strange in my body afterwards, and I don't know necessarily what they were cooked in or whatnot, so that could be the reason, but it was interesting to sort of have that awareness of sensation. So that's where I'm at already with the carnivore, right now with the carnivore thing. If people have suggestions based on the things I said, or they know things that I don't, or questions or whatever, put those in the comment section. And now on to the main topic, which is the vegan diet and then the vegan agenda and the sort of people around that. I have limited experience personally with the vegan diet. What I'm doing on this series of videos is going through all the diets I've ever tried while I'm having this carnivore experience and telling you about my thoughts about them. I did the vegan diet twice. I did it once about a year or two after I first became a vegetarian. I was still doing gymnastics at this time. And yeah, it didn't work at all. I got way too weak. I got way too skinny. I couldn't do any of a lot of the sort of strength skills that were very simple things I'd been doing since a kid in gymnastics suddenly became very difficult. I'm sure I didn't do the diet correctly because I was 15 or 16 at the time, had limited knowledge about nutrition, and also I was a kid and could only control so much of what I was eating in terms of what there was to buy. There weren't the same kind of products and awareness that there is now. This was, a long time ago. And so it was just a no for me at that time. And then later, I'd say in my late 20s, I tried it again. And by this time, there was a lot more products, and I had a little bit more nutritional know-how and whatever. I still didn't know about the things we know now about soy. So what this translated to for me was eating a lot of soy products and a lot of quote unquote fake meats. I did eat still vegetables and other healthy things, but my experience was that those things, and I didn't understand this at the time until I stopped and it went away, it all made me incredibly bloated. And now we know it's because some of the stuff with the phytoestrogens and all of that kind of stuff, it made me feel terrible. It made me look terrible. And it was boring. I was hungry all the time. I was never satisfied with what I ate. I always wanted what other people were eating, but I wasn't allowing myself to have it. And I also think that I did go back to regular vegetarianism after that, but I think I was only a regular vegetarian for another year after that, maybe even less than that. And then that was over, and I was moving on into other ways of eating. That sort of ended a 14 or 15-year vegetarian run for me. So yeah, I can't really say that I've had any, that's my experience with the vegan diet. It's not, if I were having it now, it might be different. But that was what it was. What I am experiencing now and for the last several years is what I refer to as the vegan agenda. And I consider the vegan agenda different than the vegan diet. And I know this idea of a vegan agenda upsets some people, but that is what it is. Some of the things I say upset people, and I have to live with that. Some things people say upset me too, and I live with that as well. So there's a political movement wrapped around it now, right? It's one thing to eat a diet and you're deciding to do that um, for, health purposes or preferences or medical conditions or whatever it is. And there's another thing when something is being pushed, advertised, recommended by like governmental and NGO kinds of organizations, things like the UN, when like everywhere you go that didn't used to offer any kind of vegetarian or vegan options is now not only offering them, but almost like pushing them in your face. Um, and it seems like social organizations, governments, all sorts of things are really wanting us to um, pay attention to this. You see celebrities pushing it, you see celebrities sponsoring products. And I mean, goes along with lots of diets, so it isn't unusual in that way, except for the sort of religiousness with which a lot of the adherents, particularly the newer adherents that haven't been doing this for a long time, and even some that have, are the way they behave with it. It's kind of scary. I think Danny and I are going to talk about this a little bit in one of our shows, because she had an experience where she is a vegan for the most part, was punished by readers of an article she wrote about being veganish and some of the issues that go along with the vegan community and the people in it. I've watched on keto, carnivore message boards and videos people be attacked by vegans. It's almost like religious or political in nature. I can't think of other, it's kind of like in the flat earth thing, right? Like the kind of vitriol that people would attack people who disagree with them. It's quite frightening. Diet and health is a personal decision. And I don't know anybody who eats like a diet that they consider helpful for themselves that do it with the intention of like harming things or being mean to things or not caring about things. I understand like the ethical appeal for some people, including myself. Obviously, I was a vegetarian for a really long time, of not harming animals. But I also understand that our bodies function, or at least for some of us, function better when we include. My cat is throwing a fit. Hold on one second, guys. She doesn't like closed doors. For many of us, our bodies work better when we include animal fat and protein in our diet. And being judged, our ethics, our morality, our humanity, all that stuff, having to be yelled and screamed at or judged by people isn't helpful. I understand the concern for life. At some point, maybe I'll make a video about this kind of thing. But somebody even said, well, plants are alive too. Why doesn't anybody seem to have problems about harming plants? So we could carry that out to a really far degree. I understand the issues, but health is a personal decision, just like politics and just like religion. And it would be good if we could have conversations about it without all of these moral judgments and name calling and all of that kind of stuff. So my other issue with the vegan diet, and this is just my concern. Oh, here comes my cat. There she is. It's Olivia. My old lady here, she's 88 years old. Is my other issue with the vegan diet right now. It's my concern for people who are adhering strictly to a vegan diet, is the issue with cell wall integrity. There are our cell membranes are supposed to be in a certain condition, and the only foods that provide the kind of cholesterol necessary for an integrous cell wall in this way are animal foods that have certain kinds are animal fat, butter, eggs, and some fats from meats and whatnot. So vegetarians, if they ate well, this wouldn't be an issue for them, but vegans are not getting any of that. So if the reason cell wall integrity is so important right now is because of the frequency soup we live in. And if we lived in a perfect ideal world, maybe we could eat a vegan diet and have enough, energy and feel well enough to do the things we needed to do, because we weren't in this sort of, for lack of a better term, semi-biological warfare state here. Okay. So I don't want to give too much energy to that either, because I think there's things we can do to help ourselves with that. But these are my thoughts. These are my concerns. So anyway, that's kind of all I have to say about that stuff today. Um, I am available for both nutrition and life coaching consultations. If anybody is interested, you can contact me on Facebook at Emily Moyer or at technobrat21@gmail.com. Please join us tomorrow. Tomorrow for Conspiracy Cocktail, and be on the lookout for the health and happiness group that I will be starting likely next week. And you can find my other work on Off Planet Media, Off Planet Radio, Matrix Mash, Words with Danny, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.